Have you ever had that coworker, acquaintance, even neighbor who you always greet in passing on a daily basis, but never bothered to learn their name? Similar to real life, many of us know the names of our sport's most well-known figures like the back of our hands. There's Roger, Rafa, Novak, and... wait, I know that guy. He's always at the matches. Oh yeah, him. He's, In contrast to those running around the court, it's said that the chair umpire's best tennis matches are those when the audience forgets they're even there, despite how crucial their job is to the game. Yet, isn't it interesting how we see the same few familiar faces at almost every high-profile tennis match? What makes them special? Surely there are hundreds of tennis umpires in different roles policing our sport at almost every level imaginable. So what's the story behind what it took to land the extremely rare role of a tenured, gold badge tennis chair umpire? A position so remarkable that only 1 or 2 new faces qualify for the promotion every single year. Today we're unraveling all the secrets behind the long path one must take in order to officiate at the highest level of professional tennis, including everything you'd want to know about pay, travel, logistics, and the surprising number of scandals and controversies uncovered regarding the sport's biggest behind-the-scenes officials that have had the ability to threaten the integrity of professional tennis as a whole. Think you have what it takes to officiate a Grand Slam final? Let's see how you get there. Though seamless when performed correctly, numerous people in different roles, both on court and off, are required to work together in harmony to properly officiate a professional tennis match. The most obvious of these workers are line judges, whose main job is to call balls in or out during play. Depending on the level of play, up to 9 of them can populate a court concurrently, each keeping focus on their own line with one baseline judge watching for foot faults as well. Out of public view, the chief umpire and tournament referee are 2 separate people responsible for maintaining integrity and keeping play running smoothly behind the scenes, with duties of recruiting, assigning and evaluating chair umpires or line judges, and creating draws, suspending play, mediating conflict, and acting as the final on-site authority of tennis rule interpretation, respectively. For the purposes of this video, however, we'll focus on the one authority that players directly interact with and arguably hold the most influence on match outcome apart from the players themselves: chair umpires. Aside from getting paid to watch the highest level of tennis imaginable from the best seat in the house, a chair umpire has many responsibilities and pressures that don't just have to do with calling the correct score every point. Chair umpires routinely overrule line judge calls, leave the chair to visually inspect ball marks,
There's a mark right here.
Just calm down.
There's a mark right here.
Just calm down. It's not a reason to talk like this.
assign warnings, penalties, and fines to players for unsportsmanlike behavior, and act as the main authority of tennis rule interpretation. Chair umpires levy criticism from the players, fans, and even fellow chair umpires, as peer reviews factor into future match placement. In a role where a few incorrect calls or one controversial ruling can cost you your career, as far as stressful jobs go, this one comes only second to the stress a Roger fan endures when watching him trying to serve out a match. So what is it that separates a chair umpire who officiates a minor league futures qualifying match from one who officiates a Grand Slam final? In essence, it boils down to the 2 T's: time and talent. Let's start from the beginning. You want to be a professional chair umpire. Where do you start? Though each country has their own tennis federation governing umpire training on a national level, upon reaching the world stage, the International Tennis Federation, or ITF, standardizes the process of working your way up the officiating ladder. Before applying, one must first have 20/20 vision in both eyes and maintain the ability to keep constant focus in a still position for hours at a time without eating, drinking, or using the bathroom. Though travel throughout the year may be needed, you might be surprised to learn an overwhelming majority of people who officiate in any capacity, even at the biggest tournaments, only do so part-time, taking local and national roles due to their interest in tennis, with most working part or full-time jobs elsewhere. Typically, one gets started in their country by simply getting on-court training and experience as a line judge or umpire at the junior level, high school, or college matches. After years of doing so with positive marks in accuracy and temperament from the tournament's fellow umpires or referees, in addition to passing national examinations, one-off positions may be offered at national level events or small minor league pro matches with low prize purses. Though switching officiating positions between line judge, umpire, and referee are common at the lower level, those serious enough about the role of chair umpire with more or less a perfect track record just may be offered a prized ITF badge, one's first step in the pathway to becoming a full-time official. The ITF Badge system is not a job or job guarantee, but merely a standardized rating system a tournament will defer to when making their selections of chair umpires. The higher your badge, the greater chance you'll have in being selected for bigger tournaments and bigger matches. At this point, everyone involved are still only contract workers, working their main job at home and attending tournaments when selected and convenient for their schedule. The rating system works as such. The Level 1 green badge is designed for non-English speaking countries whose home tennis federation may not be as robust as, say, the USA, with these badge holders working small events in their countries while improving their English. English speakers with greater experience, on the other hand, will typically automatically qualify for a Level 2 white badge, allowing the badge holder opportunities to work the largest events at the national level, including all minor league futures matches. From this point, years of dedication and further flawless officiating may lead to bronze, silver, and potentially a coveted gold badge, a designation only given to those with a near-flawless track record with over a decade's experience of virtual full-time officiating, which allows full access to the sport's biggest and most important matches. In addition, instead of contract work, many gold badge umpires are offered full-time positions within the elite teams of tennis's three main organizations, ATP, WTA, or ITF, with each granting guaranteed full-time work under their specific jurisdiction. Though the jurisdiction work may many times overlap, which is why an elite ATP umpire may work an ITF Grand Slam final, this explains why you'd never find elite ITF umpire Carlos Ramos at an ATP 1000 final, or elite WTA umpire Kader Nouni officiating an ATP men's match. So what's life like officiating at the highest level and interacting with tennis's most famous players on a daily basis? Well, despite being minor celebrities themselves within the tennis realm, life as a top umpire isn't as glamorous or financially lucrative as many might expect. For a Level 2 white badge chair umpire, a week's work of officiating at a minor league futures event earns one a measly $550 for the entire week, while higher badged officials at the same event would earn $750. Though pay will increase for officiating larger events with a higher badge level, it was reported in 2018 that elite ITF umpire Carlos Ramos was only paid $450 for officiating the Women's US Open final between Serena Williams and Naomi Osaka, a pay rate on par with what finalist Serena made in just 1 second of play. Using both known and estimated pay figures for the 4 Grand Slams and 25 to 30 of the largest tennis tournaments held in a calendar year, we can guesstimate that a gold badge chair umpire working a full-time schedule can earn $70,000 to $80,000 in any given year. Not bad by any means, but certainly below what many might expect for a role of such importance. In terms of lifestyle, top chair umpires are expected to work weeks-on, weeks-off schedules, where most of their year consists of living out of shared hotel rooms with meals picked up on the go.
Biscuit, man. Biscuit, man. Biscuit.
Regarding work life, one factor many fans overlook when seeing familiar umpires on TV is the relative lack of job security and pressures they endure on a regular basis, as perceived on and off court conduct in addition to popular sentiment play a large role as to whether they receive assignments. Despite the inner workings of the ATP, WTA, and ITF being far removed from any media coverage, high-profile controversies have shown light onto questionable organizational conduct. Following the 2018 US Open final controversy, in which aforementioned elite umpire Carlos Ramos gave Serena Williams 3 code violations for illegal coaching, racket abuse, and verbal abuse, the revered umpire was thrashed in the media by journalists, fans, and players alike for the potentially sexist controversial rulings which many sympathizers argued were fair and deserved. After statements of expressed lack of support and disappointment from both the USTA and WTA in Ramos's conduct in addition to continued media support of Williams, Ramos was officially barred from officiating any Serena or Venus Williams match at the following year's US Open and has not officiated any Grand Slam final since. Regarding official terminations, the ATP Elite Gold Badge chair umpire for the high-profile 2019 Gentlemen's Singles Final at Wimbledon, Damien Steiner, was fired 2 months later for doing unauthorized interviews in his home country of Argentina following the match, despite no prior record of malfeasances with the ATP during his entire decades-long career. In the most egregious case of potential organizational misconduct, former chair umpire Magdi Somat, a forgotten mainstay at most Grand Slams throughout the early 2000s, was purportedly fired and banned from professional tennis in 2017 for reporting to the ATP that a woman working with the tennis organization had been sexually harassed by ATP employees, including other chair umpires. An event he has since extensively talked about, he implies that the termination excuse given of him being insubordinate, aggressive, and disrespectful was a cover to get rid of him for speaking up against inappropriate behavior. Despite a lack of evidence to prove so, one of the gold-badged officials he accused of such conduct at the time was eventually fired and banned from the ATP for charges of sexually harassing a ball girl in the middle of a tennis match. Adding validity to Somat's story that all may not be right behind the closed doors of the agencies that run the entire professional tennis circuit. Okay, maybe life as a top chair umpire isn't perfect by any stretch. But answer me this: if insane travel schedules, daily high-pressure situations, decades of training, constant public scrutiny, and needing to be pinpoint perfect in virtually every split-second decision made meant being paid to have inside access to the highest quality of tennis imaginable from a view people could only dream of on a daily basis, would you do it? Yeah, you would. Just watch out for that ugly forehand of Denis Shapovalov while you're up there. I heard it's a real eyesore.